All right, everybody, welcome back to another Xvault gaming video. Xvault here, and today we're going to go over something that's been pretty much trending for the most part on social media today. And what I'm talking about is the global console market share, what's depicted, what's going on with the latest, all the sales, who's leading, who's not, where the market is, basically. So let's go ahead and get in the nitty-gritty here, and let's go ahead and jump to it. All right, so like I was saying, what I want to go over is the market share overall through PlayStation, Xbox, and Nintendo. And I'm going to pull this via GameIndustry.biz. So this is where I'm pulling the information from, even though a quick Google search will pull up other sites as well. So what I'll do is kind of break this down. I'm going to put some information up there as well that has some bullet points throughout the video. But what we're going to go, I'm going to pull through this, so bear with me here. We'll read through this. Stating the console market generated a record $53.9 billion worldwide in 2020, analytics firm Ampere Analysis reported. The segment, which includes console hardware, games, content, and services, grew 19% last year as the market was worth $45.2 billion in 2019. So quite a big of a bump there when we're talking about billions of dollars. Sony maintained its position of leader in 2020, representing 46% of the console market versus 49% in 2019. And, you know, that being a little bit of a shift there. Microsoft was steady year on year with its market share just declining 1% to 23%. So they're a little more steady, so only lost that 1% as opposed to 3%, but we're talking about 49% compared to 23%, which is over twice, well, not over twice the amount, but close to, right? Actually is twice the amount, if my math is correct. So as we're looking at that, but this slight decrease both at Sony and Microsoft benefited Nintendo, which represented just shy of 31% of the console market share in 2020, thanks to 26 million Switch consoles being shifted. Around $7 billion was spent on Nintendo hardware last year alone, which should not come as a surprise as the Switch sold tremendously well. Nintendo typically does. The only misstep for Nintendo was the Wii U. Even the Wii, as underpowered as it was for a niche market. The biggest thing was Wii Sports, and everybody bought into that. Everybody in their grandma, senior citizens' home, you name it, everybody had a Wii. Significantly underpowered, had some great other hardware games with it and everything like that. You had Mario Kart, you had Smash Brothers, you had another Legend of Zelda, you had another Mario. You had all the staples in the franchise, but it was not that well. That's when you started looking at shovelware for third party. But anyway, before I get on a tangent there, it's good to see them kind of back in form. It is interesting because the Switch is severely underpowered compared to Xbox and PlayStation. But again, that's where the games do the talking, right? That's what Animal Crossing and all the other staples that it has is bringing the money there, giving you the ability to be having a hybrid console that's on the go and at home, and having those staple franchises and games that speaks volumes, right? So digital content in general continued to gain momentum in 2020, representing 67% of games spending in 2020, up from 59% in 2019. So quite a bit of a shift. Like I said, it's super, super interesting to me how that works. I'm going to pull a little bit other information here from Forbes as well. Stating from the headline alone, this is Forbes.com, by the way, you can look this up as well. PS5 wins 2020 market war, but not in the US. So let's specify here. So just as many of us felt 2020 had divided people enough, November saw millions of gamers worldwide taking it upon themselves to pick a team, thanks to the release of PS5 and Xbox Series X and S. Now, new research has found with which side the battle won the initial head-to-head retail war. According to the market share data analyzed by Gaming Smart, the PS5 notched a clear win in 2020 global popularity stakes, when directly compared to the X Series X and S. By the end of the year, the PS5 took 65% of the worldwide market share. While the Xbox grabbed 35%, Sony sold 4.5 million units, while global sales of the X and S came in at 2.4 million consoles. So again, we're almost looking at twice the amount here, right? And the interesting part here on top of that is they're including the Series S. The Series S is still readily available everywhere that I can find it. I can look for it online. I can look for it locally. You can get a Series S. So I believe they're combining the Series S sales with the Series X. If anybody out there finds different, please let me know in the comments down below. But to my translation, that's a combination there. However, this market share gap could tighten in the coming months and years, they say. Gaming Smart's research found that in 2018, Xbox had just 25.3% of the console market in 2019. This rose to 37.4% over the entirety of 2020. Microsoft took an average of 39.3%. If anything, the PS5's late 2020 success may well have stopped the Xbox's annual sharing, rising above 40% mark. Despite the PS5 success on an international scale, the US was one of just 12 nations that Sony's flagship console failed to gain a majority, but it was damn close. The Xbox Series XS edged it with 50.2% of the American market, which in the States, compared to PS5's 49.8%, a margin about as close as Arizona's in the 2020 presidential election, they state. So again, the interesting part is I think they're combining the X and S. The S is more readily available. You can't go out and find a digital or physical version of the console for the PS5. That's just facts right there. Just like you can't find a Series X. It's very difficult to find a Series X, but that Series S is readily available, and a lot of folks do pick those up or kind of give in and be like, well, I can't get one or the other, so let me get this interimly, right? Get that Series S. It'll at least allow me to take advantage of Game Pass, right? So that's the interesting part there. But I am also going to put up a graphic of what they showed on Forbes here. Kind of just a quick markup of who has the leading market share in the world globally. So mostly obviously covered in blue, with a few covered in green for Xbox. And again, the States being one of those, as well as is Mexico, which is interesting because I felt like I've played a lot of online games with a lot of Filipinos not in Mexico, right? But a lot of Mexican or Latino individuals. So super interesting there. But again, I don't know how close that one is there. I didn't look into that. Nor in a way doesn't matter. So what shows is kind of who's got the market share there. And it's not showing Nintendo's at all, so keep that in mind as well. This is simply just between those two on this graphic itself. I'm sure Nintendo, when it comes to sales and stuff like that, depicting on that information, that's what we're looking at there. But it is interesting because it's the States is interesting to me because the Americans feel that Xbox is more of an American company overall. Even though it has foreign parts to the Xbox itself, they feel it's more of an Americanized company and this and that. So maybe they feel like supporting that a little more. And then if you do choose Team Green, right, if that's your preferred console base, you're looking at value. But what somebody brought to my attention today, which I thought was interesting, which I knew, but it's nice that somebody sometimes puts things into words, because then you're like, yeah, well, there it is. You know, it's kind of like on the tip of your tongue or in the front of your mind, but it just never comes out. But they say, you know, not every gamer is just into the value-based thing. A lot of gamers prefer to pay outright for their games. They want to own it. And again, you're looking at two different opportunities, two different platforms. Again, you're looking at a rental service. You're looking at being okay with that. You're okay with it because you're saving a lot of money by subscribing to this rental service. You don't own the games. You have the opportunity to buy the games and possibly at a discount from time to time that's on that service of Game Pass. But some people don't care about the value. You get a different, and this is just being honest, you get a different quality of games on the Blue brand, if that is your preferred platform, because more than likely you really enjoy games like Horizon and Ghost of Tsushima and The Last of Us and Uncharted and Twisted Metal, and which Twisted Metal went third party for a while there. It's just different types of games and quality, and Xbox is trying to get there. They got a lot of acquisitions that have happened, and it takes time to create these games, anywhere from 5 to 6 years. So, we'll see what starts to churn out these next couple of years. Hopefully some things start happening there, and it shows a little bit of difference in quality. I know a lot of folks are looking to games like Starfield and so on. So hopefully Bethesda really delivers on that stuff, and you just got a lot of developers working on games right now for these guys on the Microsoft side of things. So it's only going to increase. The good news out of this all is the increase in global market share, the increases overall. Gaming's not going away. It's only increasing. We'll see what happens. I know on the PlayStation side of things, again, we should have information about Project Spartacus as far as their tiers and if it's more similar to Game Pass or not. From the rumors, it's not going to be day and date on the first party games because they still believe that would hurt sales, which it would. So to me, that's kind of common sense. Don't put your crazy AAA amazing games on a rental service right away. That's going to hinder sales. I don't know how all the business practices work. I'm sure Game Pass is plenty profitable, obviously, as we see from this global market share and what's going on. But I can't help but think that you can make more money by holding off 6 months to a year for your first party AAA exclusives. So you're going to get those that are okay with waiting and just continue to subscribe. And you're going to get those that are maybe hardcore fans of Halo if it was geared towards that, or Starfield or whatever. But they're putting those on day and date. To me, it seems like you kind of lose money. Is it good value for the players? Absolutely. But for me personally, my preference and will be for the foreseeable future is to own a lot of the games I know I'm going to love. I don't want to continue to worry about renting it, putting on a service or this and that. I just want to be able to have it. If I want it physically, I can still do that, and so on and so forth. So there's a lot of folks out there that feel that way as well, but to each their own for sure. But I just wanted to kind of bring this to the attention of everybody. So here it is. But thank you so much for sticking around for the entirety of the video. Again, at the time of this recording, we are at 226 subscriptions. The goal is 300. So if you are new to this community, if you're new to this channel, definitely consider subscribing, liking, commenting, all that great stuff to help out a small content creator like myself. If you want to join any of the Discords and follow me on Twitter and all that, we do have that information down in the description below as well. So thank you. Enjoy the rest of your Tuesday, ladies and gentlemen, and we will see you next time on the next gaming video. And until then, take care.